Thank you very much for coming into the program this morning, and thank you very much for coming through to visit us. First of all, what are the aims of the society of which you're a leader?
Yes, it is aims to make peace of this world and to connect with the transcendental and spiritual world through the divine name of Lord. This is our aims. Mm-hmm. And our practicing standard is this: humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. Mm-hmm. We will follow that.
We're thinking of our beloved Guru Dev, Om Vishnu Pad, Srila Bhakti Sundar, Govinda Dev, Goswami Maharaj. We only have emotion, right? What is the use of that? We are like small children who have some level of appreciation for their father, right? But they don't have full understanding, not even close, right? But we have one special way out of this, and that we've heard the glories of our Guru Dev from those who are qualified, from those who do have some proper understanding, proper vision, and this is the lens through which we can have some proper appreciation for who Srila Govinda Maharaj was. Our Guru Dev himself, in fact, he mentioned in his humility, I was like an insect, living with my Guru Maharaj, but and he would also say sometimes, if an insect spends 42 years with a very great person, then even that insect will become something qualified, right? But our Guru Dev said, I lived with Guru Maharaj, and very closely, very intimately, and in that way I couldn't always appreciate who he was. But when I saw like how other great Vaishnavas expressed so much regard for Guru Maharaj, then through them I could come to understand something of who he was, right? Through Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, right? The founder of the Grand International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and other powerful preachers in the disciple section of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, like Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Daita Madhav Maharaj, and others, right? They all express such high regard for Srila Śrīla Maharaj, and our Guru Dev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, expressed, and through them I could come to understand something, right? And so in our case, that's actually true, right? We don't have any capacity. We are just like these small children who came to receive some affectionate grace, helping hand from above, right? And we are, like picked up from the street, right? He picked us up from the street and showed us some affection, gave us some something according to what we had capacity for, gave us some higher understanding of life. As Srila Sridhar said about Mahaprabhu, taught us what to beg for, taught us what to pray for, taught us about the condition and the need of our own heart, right? Sambandha Gyan, right? This is the Sanskrit expression. Proper understanding of what is what. And this is our primary necessity. As Srila Sridhar says, we are all very busy in treatment in this world, but as yet the disease has not been diagnosed, right? So our Guru Dev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, they're coming and showing us, what is our disease, disease of mundanity, and here's the cure, right? Srila Gurudev, he quoted in connection with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, right? Beautiful verse of Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasam Prayatner Payan Mam Anabipsam Andam Kripam Buddhir Yapada Dukkha Dukki Sanatanastam Prabhumashrayami. That I was blind and unwilling to taste the nectar of devotion. But my Gurudev, his Pada Dukkha Dukki, his only sorrow is the sorrow of others. And so he's caused me, made me, forced me to drink this pure, divine nectar of divine love for the Lord. So our Gurudev, out of his mercy, he descended into this world. And as Swami Maharaj Prabhupada expresses in that beautiful introduction that's included in our Shri Guru and His Grace publication, the advent of Shri Guru, it is the most joyful day for the whole of humankind. Like the pole star for someone lost in the desert, like that pole star that is guiding them, right? That is the significance of the appearance of Guru, right? So we don't want to contemplate what our lives would be without his divine grace. So this is our small acquaintance and experience of the glories of Srila Govinda Mahārāj. But if we look to the expressions of the great souls, then we can come to have some higher level of appreciation. And Srila Śrīla Maharaj, of course, himself, right? Srila Śrīla Maharaj, who has received certificate, so to speak, of recognition from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, from all of his highly esteemed godbrothers. Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, recognized his writings as non-different from Rupa Goswami, the head of our Sampradaya. This is Srila Śrīla Maharaj, right, who Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati referred to as Shastra Nipun Sridhar, expert in the scripture and the Shastra, who said, I am satisfied when I leave this world, at least one person remains behind who understood what I came to give. That Sridhar Maharaj, he spoke so highly of Srila Govinda Maharaj, and in fact he recognized him from practically the first meeting. That was Nishinga Chaturdashi Day, the Divine Appearance Day of Nrsimha Dev, 1947. Right? Srila Śrīla Maharaj officially hoisted the flag establishing Chaitanya Saraswati Math on Vrathayatra Day, 1942. And then just a few short years later, our Gurudev, he came to Srila Śrīla Maharaj. And, we think of Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Śrīla Maharaj as eternal associates. They have a very, very mystical and very deep, profound connection, which we only get some glimpse of. But one very interesting thing is that we hear that Srila Śrīla Maharaj in his youth, his early years, he appeared in Hapanya, right? And our Gurudev appeared in Bamampar. They're not very far apart, some miles apart, and all within the Gauda Mandal area, the area of Mahaprabhu's appearance and divine leelas, divine pastimes. But Srila Śrīla Maharaj, we hear in his youth, like as a young teenager or something, he used to walk every day from his family home in Hapanya to this temple of Lord Shiva in Jamalpur. It's a very famous, in the area, famous temple of Lord Shiva. Bodhoraj Shiv, very ancient deity, it is said. And every day he used to go and offer one lotus flower, right? It was like a few miles, and he'd pick from the Ganges a lotus flower, and he would take to this temple and offer it to Lord Shiva and walk back. It was like a daily practice. And it was that very same temple of Lord Shiva that our Gurudev's father, Nitai Pada, right? He was a celebrated kirtan leader and also guru in the area of, in Nadia district area. Nitai Pada Prabhu and his wife Tarangini Devi, our Gurudev's parents, they'd had several children, and they'd all passed away soon after their birth. And so they made this decision, let us pray to Lord Shiva. Please give your own son. This was the prayer of Nitai Pada. Please give your own son, and you will protect him, right? And so he made that prayer, and soon after Tarangini Devi, she bore our Gurudev. They named him Dharma Das. And so, they considered, right, that deity, that their son had come by the grace of Lord Shiva. And we also hear how after the news of the baby's appearance came, Nitaipada went running to Jamalpur, and he informed this deity of Shiva, your son has come. And he heard Lord Shiva responding to him, yes, I know he has come, but go and tell the ladies of the village they don't have to put this kajal, because I am protecting him. This is like a practice, this type of eyeliner they smudge under the eye. You'll see in Bengal at least. And this is like, it's said to protect the baby from ghosts and evil spirits like that. And so Lord Shiva told him, they're putting this on him, but it's not necessary. I'm protecting him. And so Nitaipada ran back, and he told the ladies, and they followed that. So it's very interesting, this connection with this deity of Lord Shiva. And then it was later, right, our Gurudev was 17 years old, and that time he was working as a doctor's apprentice in Nadangat, all within the same area, not too far from Navadvip or Mat there. And he was working as a doctor's apprentice, and then some of the brahmacharis, Śrīla Mahārāj, that time, right, our temple in Navadvip existed as a very small thatched hut. And from time to time, Śrīla Mahārāj would send out a small group of brahmacharis who would, spread the word in local areas. And so they happened to come to this little village where Gurudev was living at the time, 17-year-old boy. And our Gurudev mentioned he had a very carefree, happy life, His father had passed away actually when he was like a few years before, like around 14, 15. And he was the eldest son, and so the responsibility of the family came on his shoulders. And he was working in this nearby village, right, and sending money to his family. But, aside from that, the weight of that responsibility, he had a happy, carefree life. And he mentioned he would play football with the local boys, and everyone loved him. He said the rickshaw-wallas loved him. And he also mentioned that he was like gold, right? A young, bright boy, right? Young, bright, capable, intelligent, beautiful boy, right? It's like gold. And so he was like wanted actually in different directions. He mentioned one big Goswami guru who had thousands of disciples, and he had no child, like no successor, no son. And he kind of like adopted our Gurudev in a way and wanted to make him his successor. And there was also this doctor, homeopathic doctor, he was training under. He also wanted to, have our Gurudev continue with that work. And there were some other opportunities also. So he had, bright prospects in front of him. But when these brahmacharis came to the village, and and they set up in the center of the village every day, and they would do kirtan and have some Bhagavatam discussion, reading and discussion. And our Gurudev was captured immediately. And one interesting thing he mentioned was, he said, I know Bhagavatam, right? My father was a guru. He had many disciples, in the line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So, he knows Mahaprabhu's conception, he knows Bhagavatam, all these things. But he said when he heard like the interpretation of Bhagavatam, the presentation of Bhagavatam from those trained in the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and of course coming from Śrīla Mahārāj, it was completely different. It was like fresh, it was revolutionary, and it really captured him. The immediacy of this, the vitality of this, it really struck a chord with him. And he was very strongly attracted. And he mentioned how the first day he saw them, he was completely captured. He kind of stood at a little bit of a distance, some little quiet little spot, watching and thinking, from tomorrow I will come and I will join them. And he did that. And our Gurudev, he was also trained because of his father. he was trained just automatically. He didn't actually have training, but he just kind of absorbed it. And he was very talented as a mridanga player and a singer. And so our Gurudev mentioned the mridanga player was not very good. And so he went and he offered his services humbly. And they gave him the chance, and they were very, very happy to see how expert he was. And so they all just fell in love with him, this bright, talented, young, intelligent boy. And so our Gurudev joined them every day. And then, next thing you know, he's being carried along to Navadvip. His heart was captured by their message, and he ended up leaving everything behind and going in the early hours of the morning of Nrsimha Chaturdashi, Nrsimha Dev's divine appearance day, like around dawn. They went kind of in the middle of the night and reached around sunrise. And our Gurudev, he described their meeting, how Srila Śrīla Maharaj, he asked him, first thing, they brought this Jayadvaita brahmachari, brought our Gurudev, and Srila Śrīla Maharaj asked him first, can you follow me and not your mind? Their whole exchange, it is a leela. We see it like that. And our Gurudev, he really showed a very clear example of what it means to surrender to one's Guru in a way that you don't, it's very rare to see, actually. Such a very clear, tangible, like manifest expression of how one can surrender to Guru and what is the nature of a Guru-disciple relationship, right? It is very clearly apparent in the relationship between Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And so the first question Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked, can you follow me and not your mind, right? This is the start of spiritual life, right? To set aside our own collected ideas from this plane and to embrace the higher conception, right? And our Gurudev, he fully embraced everything from day one. Srila Sridhar Maharaj could see almost immediately, right, how qualified this boy was, like the X-ray vision, the qualified doctor, right? They can see what other eyes cannot see. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj could see, he's not just seeing some teenage boy, but he's seeing who Srila Govinda Maharaj is, what his capacity is, what is his spiritual quality, his potential. And so practically from day one, right, Srila Sridhar Maharaj saw that and began training our Gurudev. He gave him first initiation just a few months later. Normally there would be a 6-month wait, but this is like May, June, like maybe 2 months later, something like that. And it was actually in Puri, in Jagannath Puri, in the evening time. Our Gurudev mentioned that detail. And then, even more impressive, he gave him the Brahman initiation, just like a few weeks later. It was on the disappearance day of Rupa Goswami. He gave him second initiation. And he also made a public announcement, like it was on the way to Puri. He stopped at the mat of Jajavar Maharaj, Midnapur. It was Midnapur. On the way to Puri, they stopped, and there, in the temple of his godbrother, his dear godbrother, Jajavar Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj made the public announcement for the first time that this boy, he will be my successor. If he will stay with me, he will be my successor. He made a public announcement like that. And of course that made things more difficult for Gurudev. But anyhow, those who were non-envious, they were very happy. Krishnadas Babaji, another dear godbrother, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he actually also, he met our Gurudev very soon after joining the mat. He also came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, because he also saw in Gurudev this quality, and he mentioned, you keep an eye on this boy. He told Srila Sridhar Maharaj, you keep an eye on this boy. And so then from Puri, then they went to Vrindavan, actually. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj personally led our Gurudev on the Braja Mandal Parikrama just like the two of them, maybe one or two brahmacharis sometimes. Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj sometimes accompanied them. And it's also interesting to think about the social background, because this actually was all going on in the middle of partition, right? The Indian partition, right? With the breakup of India into 3 parts, and the going against the British rule. And it was a turbulent time. And we've heard our Gurudev mention some descriptions, because they went through Kolkata, and they visited Swami Maharaj Prabhupada there, and there were like bombs going off, and it was a mad time. But it's like that contrast. It's very wonderful to contemplate. In the midst of whatever may be going on in our mundane circumstances, right? That spiritual flow is still going on, and we want to try to stay absorbed in that as much as possible. So this was all playing out in the background. But so then Srila Śrīla Maharaj, he personally led our Gurudev and visiting all the holy sites in Vrindavan, Govardhan, and that whole area, Mathura, Mandal area, connected with the pastimes of Shri Shri Radha Krishna, the Goswamis of Vrindavan. And Srila Śrīla Maharaj, and remember, Gurudev, he's 17 years old, and he's just a few months in. But Srila Śrīla Maharaj, very quickly treated him as like a confidant, and gave very, very deep explanations to our Gurudev. And in fact, on one occasion, Srila Śrīla Maharaj was explaining the 8th verse of the Shikshashtakam to our Gurudev. Ashlishava paradatam pinashtumam adarshana marmahatam gurutuva yatatata babidada tulampato matprananatas tu saeva napara. And this is describing the acme of surrender. This is actually an expression of Srimati Radharani, expressing the most extreme mood of surrender to Krishna. Right? You may embrace me, you may reject me, but you will always be the only Lord of my life. It is a very high mood of surrender. And Srila Śrīla Maharaj he went into a very deep explanation of this verse to our Gurudev. And it was so profound and esoteric that Krishnadas Babaji was surprised, right? Even though he himself, as we mentioned, he had recognized some special quality in Gurudev, and he had pointed that out to Srila Śrīla Maharaj earlier, but even so, he thought this was going too far. And so he expressed to Srila Śrīla, he tried to stop him, like, what are you doing? He's just a young boy, can he hear these high explanations? And Srila Śrīla Maharaj, he affirms, like you're seeing a young boy, but I'm not seeing that. And he said, he's crossed over, and in so many lifetimes, he's crossed over so much, and an old man could not get this, but he can get this. He's qualified to get this. He made some statement like this, and so there were these very special pastimes. It was perhaps a month or 2 months, something like that. They were in that area. There was another very interesting occasion, very significant moment. There was some preaching event in the Delhi area that Srila Śrīla Maharaj was invited to. And he sent our Gurudev ahead with a couple brahmacharis. And so they went ahead, and there was this one day, they were on the banks of some river or something, and it was maybe like a Sunday afternoon, like people are milling around and doing their thing, relaxing. And our Gurudev, he spontaneously started a kirtan on the bank of this river. And they were just like 2, 3, maximum 4 of them. But our Gurudev, he was also a very beautiful singer and has this commanding spiritual presence, right? And very soon he attracted this huge crowd. It was like maybe 100, 200, few hundred persons. They were attracted, and before you know it, there was this big, like, enthusiastic crowd all engaging in this kirtan, like following our Gurudev. And remember, he's like 17 years old. And meanwhile, Srila Śrīla Mahārāj, he was like he came like unexpectedly, this is like a day or a couple of days later, and he happens to arrive on this scene. And he's seeing his young disciple, leading like huge crowd, like a couple hundred persons in this, joyful kirtan. And Srila Śrīla Mahārāj observed this from a distance, and we hear that he made some comment at that time. He will be a great acharya in the future. And he also made this comment that he said, he will not have to run after anything, but everything will run after him. Whatever he needs will come after him, will run after him. He made some comment like that. Srila Śrīla Mahārāj, he expressed so much appreciation for the pure and potent, natural Vaishnava nature of our Gurudev from the very early years. There was this other incident. Our Gurudev, this is just a few years later, he started leading tours, right? Actually, in the very beginning, Srila Śrīla Mahārāj would send our Gurudev out for collection. And he explained to him, like, this isn't because we need money. I don't need any money. Srila Śrīla Mahārāj was so simple. He would live on, what was it our Gurudev mentioned, like 200 grams of food a day, like some tiny amount, 100, 200 grams of food a day, like very little. Very, very simple. He lived like the Goswamis of Vrindavan. So he said, I don't need anything, right? And he was happy living simply. Satish, Satprasangananda, one disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he used to joke, like in the earlier temple that they had, one of the earlier beginning of the temple, they didn't have a toilet, like a proper toilet, and he would joke like how we don't even have money for a toilet, and they lived very simply, and Srila Śrīla Mahārāj was fine with that, So he told our Gurudev, we don't need money, but you need to do this actually for yourself, to go and spread this message, make some sacrifice for Mahaprabhu's movement. And so our Gurudev did that for the first few years upon joining the Math. But he said, once, I had a bit of a stronger position in the Math, then I made some changes. Our Gurudev, he never liked begging, actually. He said, it's not my mood, it is not my style, I don't like to beg. And so then what he did, and we can also mention, right, that it was within like 2 years, our Gurudev practically was just running everything. He was like running the temple, he was the acting manager of the temple. He was organizing the preaching, distribution parties, collection parties. He started a magazine, the Gaudiya Darshan magazine, and he worked very hard on that. And he would write most of the articles in it, but he would publish in the names of various, dignitary Vaishnavas, including, those of different missions, right? But within the Gaudiya, the Saraswata Gaudiya fold, right? Which showed this broadness, right? Wasn't just limited only to directly from his Guru Maharaj and his disciples and so on. And then another thing that our Gurudev set up was these tours, these pilgrimage tours. And it was actually something that had been, there was some precedent, right? Some of the godbrothers of Srila Śrīla Mahārāj, they set this up as a way to raise money for their temples. And, they would go to, all the principal pilgrimage sites in India and in this way raise some funds for their temples and their preaching missions. And so our Gurudev set that up. And one interesting point here is that there was one feature of these tours which was difficult to set up, but our Gurudev was able to do that. And that was that there was this special feature in the way that the trains were running at that time, that you could disconnect. You could like rent out a carriage. You could rent out a whole train carriage, and then you could connect it, disconnect it, connect it to different trains, right? Like you can like draw up a tour, and you just like keep moving your carriage, hooking onto different trains. There was some special feature like this, but it was very difficult to get permission and to get the, to set that up. It was not easy to do. And there were some of the godbrothers of Śrīla Mahārāj who were like powerful, successful preachers. They had big preaching missions, they had money, they had big following. And they weren't able to get this set up, to get their permission from the government and the train companies and so on. But our Gurudev, so shrewd, so sharp, he was able to arrange this. And there was one godbrother, it was Keshav Mahārāj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Mahārāj. He made this comment in regards to this, and there were a couple of other things actually. Another interesting thing was the domes. Our temple domes, they're very special. Like the exact symmetry, the mathematical arrangement of everything, the artistic design. It's actually extremely perfect and not easy to achieve, right? These are domes, right? This vertical spear thing going on. It's not easy. But our Gurudev, he arranged that, he oversaw that. I remember also our Gurudev mentioning a description, like watching when they were like taking off the molds or something, our Gurudev watching from a distance. I recall him speaking about that, like this moment, like, oh yes, it's perfect. But anyway, there were different things there, and there were others like who tried to copy those domes, but they couldn't. So this Keshav Mahārāj, he made this one remark about our Gurudev, very wonderful expression. He said, what we could not achieve with all of our resources and all of our men, our money, Govinda Mahārāj could achieve just through his intelligence. Just through his intelligence, he's able to. Because our mat was poor, very few residents of the mat. Just our Gurudev's shrewdness, he was able to accomplish many things. And so he organized these tours, and our Gurudev acted like as the manager, and he would always bring some senior Vaishnava. As he said, I always wanted to have some guru on my head. And Śrīla Mahārāj wouldn't go that often. He went on a few occasions. But there was one, this is what I wanted to share. There was this one occasion in particular when they came to Mathura. Our Gurudev, Śrīla Mahārāj, and also Bhakti Saranga Goswami Mahārāj was there. And there was this one moment they came to the Mathura train station, and they're seated in the train carriage, and they're waiting. They're in some interval. They're waiting, and meanwhile they see on the train platform Tirtha Mahārāj, right? Who was, he had been the right hand assistant, the right hand to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was the big manager of the Gaudiya Math. And because of that, very dear, very much appreciated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He's referred to sometimes as Prabhupada Preshta, like most dear. And Srila Saraswati Thakur made some comments about him, like if everyone else left and I just had him, we could start everything again. And however, later, right after Saraswati Thakur left the world, there was all this, fracturing that went on, and just because of different social circles, Śrīla Mahārāj was like kind of included with one group and Tirtha Mahārāj in an opposing group, and not that Śrīla Mahārāj had any antagonistic feeling. It was just because of the persons he was friends with, his close friends. They were anti to Tirtha Mahārāj, and so there was some awkwardness, right, because of that. And Tirtha Maharaj is thinking that Srila Sridhar Maharaj is against, but it's not so, But anyhow, there was some awkwardness and everything, and they saw he's on the platform. And Goswami Maharaj, he was away at that moment. And our Gurudev, he expressed to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, oh, I would like to go and give my respects, right? And he knew that there was this political situation, and his Guru Maharaj is on the other side, right? But our Gurudev felt in his pure Vaishnava heart this simple feeling, right? That this is a leading disciple of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. He's done so much service for Prabhupada. I want to go and offer my respects to him. And so he asked permission from his guru, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj was very happy. And yes, that is very nice that you will do that. And so our Gurudev, he got out of the train and he went and gave his obeisance on the ground to Tirtha Maharaj. And Tirtha Maharaj, he was very surprised and very pleased, very touched. Because he knew who Srila Govinda Maharaj was, right? He's the leading disciple of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And to see him coming like this to give his respects in such a wholehearted way, it was very touching, very much appreciated. And he expressed, oh, Govinda Maharaj is a pure Vaishnava. He's a real Vaishnava. He's a pure Vaishnava. He announced that there in that moment. He was so touched. And our Gurudev went back and he told Guru Maharaj, Param Guru Maharaj wanted to know, what did he say? And our Gurudev told him shyly. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, yes, he is correct. He is correct. Very beautiful, right? The whole example is very beautiful, right? It is showing the intricacies of Vaishnava relationships, right? Proper Vaishnava mood. In our Gurudev's Pranam mantra, which was indicated by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he gave the idea for the mantra. And one of the phrases, the first phrase is Gorva Bhishta Sapurakam, right? That he fulfilled the cherished desires of his guru, So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying he fulfilled my heart's desires fully. And then the next phrase is very interesting. Guru Ganera Shisha Sambhushitam, right? Also saying he's like decorated with the blessings of the Guru Gan, right? Of his guru, meaning like my god brothers, right? And this is like a higher level of praise, something more appreciable. It is more easy for the guru to appreciate their surrendered disciple, right? But if you say, that other exalted Vaishnavas, they're also appreciating him, blessing him, honoring him, then that is a deeper level of appreciation. That is showing a deeper quality, right? And so, hearing these examples of how not only Srila Sridhar Maharaj, but also his godbrothers, his qualified godbrothers, also had this level of appreciation. It enhances our own understanding, of who Srila Govinda Maharaj is, right? And then, even as we're giving this example here, even Vaishnavas who weren't like part of that inner circle, right? Who like weren't exactly close and friendly with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, but even those, somewhat removed, they could see this pure Vaishnava quality of Srila Govinda Maharaj. And there are so many examples, actually, how he was appreciated, right? Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, the founder of the ISKCON movement, also had so much love and appreciation, regard for our Gurudev. They had a close relationship, and he referred to our Gurudev as his dearmost son, right? And our Gurudev, he liked to tell of the occasion, the opening of the Chandradoy Mandir, ISKCON temple in Mayapur, 1973, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj was invited as the guest of honor, and we have that famous photograph, right? The three there, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Swami Maharaj on the Vyasasan, and our Gurudev sitting next to them on the ground, a young man. Srila Sridhar Maharaj spoke as the guest of honor. Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada spoke. It is his event. And then unexpectedly, Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada invited our Gurudev to speak. And our Gurudev was very surprised. He was not expecting that. And our Gurudev, I heard him tell this story many times. He loved to tell this story. And he described like how touched he was actually. Because he was saying like, Swami Maharaj, he showed love for me, but in that moment I understood how much love he had, how much regard he had. In the public meeting, right, he's honoring me. And he's saying there was no need for me to speak, right? He's spoken, Guru Maharaj has spoken, who am I? What do I need to speak for? But Swami Maharaj, he had that like genuine regard and affection for our Gurudev and invited him to speak in this grand assembly, international gathering, the opening of this grand temple. And our Gurudev, he stood up like thinking like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And chanting, Om Jnana Timirandasya, thinking, what will I say? And then he had this wonderful inspiration to quote this verse of Raghupati Upajjhaya, Kamprati Katai Tamishe. To whom can I tell and who will believe, right? Is describing Krishna, right? The supreme absolute truth. He's engaging in these, common, very human-like behavior in the bushes of Vrindavan. And similarly, this Abai, who I knew as Abai Babu, who I ate at the same table with, stayed in his home in Calcutta. Now he's become this great world guru, this Jagat guru, fulfilled the desire of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Who can believe such a thing? And it was such a perfect, such a brilliant glorification. And we hear Krishna's, Babaji was present, he was very pleased, and he called out, Hare Krishna, he was very pleased. And our Gurudev mentioned, that I'm like a son to Swami Maharaj, and afterwards Swami Maharaj affirmed that yes, what he has said is correct, and also referred to Srila Sridhar Maharaj as a Shiksha Guru. Right? So this was their relationship, and yes, in those earlier years, right, before Swami Maharaj had gone to the West, was still in his family life. Our Gurudev was the same age as his son Mathura, actually. And they would play football together, and they stayed, and Srila Swami Maharaj gave one of his residences to Srila Sridhar Maharaj to use as a Kolkata branch of Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Our Gurudev would spend some months of every year there. And Swami Maharaj also instructed our Gurudev personally in Bhagavad Gita. So they had this very intimate relationship. Our Gurudev was the first distributor of the Back to Godhead magazine going out on the streets of Calcutta. And later on, interestingly, when Swami Maharaj was in the West and when he wanted to communicate, because he respected Srila Sridhar Maharaj as his Shiksha Guru, right? And so occasionally he would write to him for some counsel. But he would write to our Gurudev, actually. It was almost like he felt more close with him. And so he would write to him, please ask Sridhar Maharaj this, please tell him this. And they had this very special relationship. And with other godbrothers of Srila Sridhar Maharaj also. Our Gurudev, he was very, another line in that pranam mantra of our Gurudev, Chincha samasta veda nipunam, describing how expert, how brilliant our Gurudev is, and that which is conceivable and also that which is inconceivable, which can be understood in different ways, right? On the spiritual side, also on the material side. Our Gurudev, he liked to talk about the all-rounder. It's a cricket term, right? Someone who can play every role, every station. Our Gurudev described this as the ideal in seva, that we're ready to do every service, not just that I'm the preacher or I'm the cook or I play mridanga, but the real sevite is ready to play any role, right? Perform whatever is needed in service. And our Gurudev embodied that himself, right? He was a brilliant preacher. He could cook, he could, every service of the temple, he could represent Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, at a certain point, he would send, like sometimes Srila Sridhar Maharaj would be invited for a program, invited to speak, and he would send Srila Govinda Maharaj instead. And it would be astonishing for some person sometimes to see this young man, giving this, like very erudite scholar, giving this brilliant, learned lecture. And, he was, in the practical affairs of the mat, our Gurudev was very expert in that. He was in, and one of the qualities of our Gurudev is that he, like, it's almost as if he hid his scholarly nature, right? And what first he would capture people with was his affection, right? His affectionate, loving, spiritual presence that like eclipsed his nature as a brilliant, orator or brilliant scholar and so on. But he had that quality. There was one occasion I'm remembering now, our Gurudev told of, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he also mentioned this, how there was one occasion our Gurudev, he was so busy in the mat affairs, running around all day dealing with the practical affairs of the mat. And this was actually in Midnapur. This was at Jajava Maharaj's mat. And our Gurudev had been busy with so many arrangements all day, and there came time for the evening class. And then our Gurudev is also the mridanga player, right? And so he has the mridanga, they've had the kirtan, our Gurudev has the mridanga in front of him, as you do. And then it's time for the class, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj is giving the class. And our Gurudev is so tired, he rests on the mridanga and closes his eyes, right? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj is observing, and he's not very happy, right? And the next day they were returning to Navadvip. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj told him the next day, he like chastised him, I'm giving the class and you're sleeping, what is this? And our Gurudev said, no, I wasn't sleeping. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, can you say, what did I talk about in the lecture, and can you write it out? And this was back in Navadvip, like the next day or so. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj and our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he perfectly wrote out everything that Srila Sridhar Maharaj had talked about. And in fact, when our Gurudev told this story, like so many decades later, he could still remember. And in fact, he cited one of the shlokas that Srila Sridhar Maharaj had discussed. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj was astonished, that, he's like lying on his mridanga, his eyes are closed, he's exhausted after a long day of seva, but still his brain is alert, right? And he's capturing everything. So very, very sharp mind, and also very much alert and on the ground and aware of the day-to-day necessity. He was very shrewd, right? Very sharp. There was one occasion when there was this meeting, right? We mentioned this fracturing of the Gaudiya Mat. And there was this meeting that was held in Calcutta after 12 years of dispute, right? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he had this central position of respect, right? Everyone honored Srila Sridhar Maharaj's spiritual position, respected him. So he was the only one who could negotiate some type of truce between these two warring sides. And then there was this final concluding conciliatory meeting that was held in Kolkata. And then there was this one moment, like the meeting's been held, there's some peace, and then it's prasadam time. And there were these rasagulas, these sweets that were handed out. And there was one of the leaders, perhaps it was Tirtha Maharaj, there was some serious stuff that went down, and he was actually afraid there may be poison right? And because of the particular social dynamics, it would look bad. It would be awkward if he didn't take that. It would be like indicating he wasn't fully feeling trust, right? And so there was this kind of awkward moment where it's like he's not eating the sweet. And then our Gurudev can recognize what's going on, and he also knows how he can shift the situation. So he goes and tells his Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Maharaj, if you will give the sweet to him, like personally, then he will take it, And then there will be some, the atmosphere will be clear, And so Śrīla Maharaj, he followed that and and went and personally gave that sweet to that Vaishnava, and sure enough he took it, and because he had that feeling like if Sridhar Maharaj gives it to me, then it must be okay, I must take it, right? Even if it is poison, right? If it's coming from the hand of the pure Vaishnava. And so that, he gave that and he accepted it. And then everyone was at ease, right, in that moment. And Śrīla Maharaj was very impressed, that, and he later inquired from our Guru, like, how did you know, that you could recognize what was happening and you knew the solution also, and everything went so smoothly. And there were many incidents like this, there with the godbrothers of Śrīla Maharaj. They noted how sharp he was, right? There was one occasion, there was some meeting that was going on with some of the godbrothers of Sridhar Maharaj, and there was one acharya, one sannyasi giving a lecture, and he was saying something that the general person would think it was praise, speaking about another godbrother, but it was actually sarcasm, right? He was actually criticizing him, but in this sarcastic type of clever way. And the person he was directing it to was present in the audience, and he's hearing this Vaishnava speak like this about himself, but he wasn't quite sure, he couldn't be sure what his intent was. And so this is like some big assembly. What does he do? He looks at the face of Srila Govinda Maharaj. He knows that Srila Govinda Maharaj, he will know what's going on. And so he's looking at the face of Srila Govinda Maharaj. What's his response to this? These are like, elder, senior, leading disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Our Gurudev's like this young man, but he was recognized, for his intelligence and his perception. There was another occasion we heard our Gurudev, and our Gurudev was close also with these big acharyas, and there was another occasion our Gurudev was visiting Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj, and another leading, powerful disciple of Saraswati Thakur. And he was looking at, he was showing him some picture. It was Bhakti Saranga Goswami with Saraswati Thakur. And it was this British dignitary. And, part of the British, government. And Goswami Maharaj is showing this photograph to our Gurudev, and our Gurudev's looking at this photograph very intently, and he says, something's wrong with this photo. And Goswami Maharaj, what do you mean, what is wrong? And our Gurudev said, well, Prabhupada has a garland. This dignitary, Sir John Anderson was his name, he has a garland, but you don't have a garland. And Goswami Maharaj says, what is the problem, right? Prabhupada is our guru, John Anderson is our honored guest. Of course, they should have a garland. Why should I have a garland? And our Gurudev said, no, I know what happened. And he said, initially you had a garland, and if Prabhupada had a garland, John Anderson didn't have a garland because the garland man was late. The person who was bringing the garlands was late. And so, they're going to take this photo. And so you took off your garland and you gave it to this Sir John Anderson. This is what happened, isn't it? And Bhakti Saranga Goswami, he was very pleased, and he said, you have crossed Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. You know, Vishwanath Chakravarti, he's known for his like very fine, detailed analysis and his commentary on the scripture. And so Bhakti Saranga Goswami, he was so impressed by our Gurudev's, you know, interpretation, his accurate interpretation of what had happened. That you have crossed Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So he had this love and respect, and we all, from our Gurudev, had this level of love and respect from the Guru Gan, right? The god brothers of Srila Śrīla Mahārāj. There were so many incidents like that. Actually, you know, the glories of our Gurudev, and that is only what is to our small powers of comprehension. That is already so vast. That is unlimited. That is unlimited. You know, we can talk for many, many hours, but we have to stop somewhere. You know, so Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, actually we don't know who he is. You know, as our Gurudev, he commented that about Srila Śrīla Maharaj. We don't know who he is. You know. And if our Gurudev can say that about his Guru, then what to speak of ourselves, right? And we simply feel that we found some real purpose in life, you know, that we were, you know, in the gutter and our Gurudev picked us up like lost children, and he showed us, you know, what does true life mean? That is something he would mention, right? A living life. We don't want to live a dead life. We want to live a living life. And he connected us with the eternal current of reality. You know, eventually he, you know, after he realized Srila Śrīla Maharaj's vision for Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, established his mission in India in a glorious way, our Gurudev did so. After he did that, you know, by the persistent invitation of the Western section of devotees who had connected after the departure of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada from this world, right, and ultimately Srila Śrīla Maharaj's departure. Then our Gurudev, by the insistent invitation of our international section of devotees, you know, he began traveling. And of course we also have to mention how Srila Śrīla Maharaj established Srila Govinda Maharaj as the Acharya within his own time, you know, 2 years before he left the world. That is unheard of, right? Our Gurudev had zero desire for any sort of position, but it was by the insistence of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who year after year actually pressuring him to take this position. And finally he told our Gurudev, you know, if you do not take this position, then I will die. You know, I will die today, and I'll give away my deities, we'll close this mat, and I'll die. And our Gurudev knew that was not an empty threat. Srila Śrīla Maharaj had that type of power. Srila Śrīla Maharaj, so, you know, he could not give his mission to anyone else. But only Srila Govinda Maharaj could perfectly represent and uphold the ideals of his mission. And so that was 1986 that Srila Śrīla Maharaj established him as the successor. Right? And there were even some cases where Srila Śrīla Maharaj gave Ritvik initiation on behalf of his own disciple. It is really quite an extraordinary thing. And then, you know, later our Gurudev, finally he began traveling around the world, and for the purpose of he made that very clear, you know, for the service of his Guru Maharaj, to spread the glories of his Guru Maharaj. And he has, in this way, he has given us all a lifeline. So this is a true lifeline to reality, the beautiful. And so on this day of his divine appearance, you know, we are celebrating with deepest, profoundest gratitude, you know, that such a great soul has appeared in this world to grace us We do not know who he is actually. We have some small glimpse, very tiny understanding of who he is. And so we are expressing our indebtedness, and in our small way, we are trying to continue with his legacy in this world, and we feel that, the world is yet to fully appreciate, to fully glorify who is Srila Govinda Mahārāj, and we feel that his glories will become more and more known as time goes by. Our Gurudev, he was actually very unassuming in his demeanor, and deceptively so, right? As we mentioned, he hid his quality. There were many occasions like that. He could surprise persons. He had the very unassuming, humble mood. And so in that way, it was not that immediately one would necessarily appreciate, the glory of his position. And so in that way, we feel that as time goes by, his glories will be more and more known. And our prayer is that, we may be able to retain some small connection with his divine service, and that he will continue to hold us in his divine embrace and continue to hold out his lifeline for us and for all souls. Jai Om Shnipad Paramahamsa Parivajaka Var Ashtatar Satashi Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Tadiya Shubhavir Bhav Maha Mahotsav Titi Ki Jai.